said in Proverbs, he that sinneth against me loveth death, man. You know, sinning is playing. Sinning is transgression of the law. All right, sinning is eating pork. Sinning is not reading the Bible, not seeking how about you outside. Worshiping these idols, which is what majority of our people do. You know, those people that love that type of sin, you love death, man. You don't love your how about you outside. You know? No, that was his name.
It says, whereas in the day, Matthew 24 and 38, whereas in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and not until the flood came, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man.
So same thing is going to be now as it was back then. It's just the situation is reincarnated. Instead of water, it's going to be by fire. These are serious times that we're in. This is not the time to be playing. Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 4. I'll start from 3 again. It says, "For thus saith the Lord concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land, they shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried. But they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth." That's right, man. They might as well, they just like you seen when we was kids, you know, you used to see the cartoons, you used to see the condors with the birds of prey circling. The big birds with the big wings. Yeah, hawks do it too. But it's a certain bird. I can't remember. But yeah. No, it's a bigger bird than that. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Vulture. So that's what it's gonna be for. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be death everywhere. The Walking Dead, literally. It's gonna be that type of situation. It's gonna be that big on that big a scale. The scriptures say that it's gonna be a whole city. You can barely find, 2 people in it. And somebody might be over there, somebody might be over there. But I guarantee you, they don't want to see each other. Because if they do, it's a fight. They both will be scared of each other, but they know what's going down. It's gonna be that type of situation. Thus saith Yahweh, enter not into the house of mourning, neither go to lament, nor bemoan them. For I have taken away my peace from this people, saith Yahweh, even loving kindness and mercies. That's right, man. What does it say? The love of many shall wax cold. Ain't nobody gonna have no concerns. There's not gonna be no funerals. Nobody's gonna say some kind words over your body. We're just gonna keep going. You're gonna get the shootout. There's gonna be 5 of y'all. 2 of y'all gonna make it. And they gonna be like, them niggas is dead. We gotta keep going. Both the great and the small shall die in this land. That's right. It doesn't matter if you're rich, if you're poor. You know what I'm saying? If you a big bodybuilder type dude. You know what I'm saying? If you're a scrawny dude. You know what I'm saying? Death don't have no. Therefore, should respect the persons. Respect the persons. It says, they shall not be buried, neither shall men lament for them, nor cut themselves, nor make themselves bald for them. That's right. They're not gonna mourn them. They're not gonna put ashes on their head, or cry, or get an RIP t-shirt made for a nigga. That would be your whole wardrobe. Neither shall men tear themselves for them in mourning to comfort them for the dead. Neither shall men give them the cup of consolation to drink for their father or for their mother. Thou shalt not also go into the house of feasting to sit with them to eat and to drink.
That's right, you're not gonna go. There ain't gonna be no golden corral in them days. The Chinese buffet gonna be closed. Like you niggas like to go out to eat after church, ain't gonna be none of that shit.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17 says, Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, but shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children.
That's right, man. So it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Just like it say in Ezekiel, young men, handmaids, women, little children, the fruit of the womb, a baby. You know what I'm saying? In the womb, or a fresh newborn, it don't matter. If you ain't protected by your Habashim Yahshai, you gonna get it. That's why it's high time to wake out of sleep now. That's the importance of what we're doing right now. We out here doing the work to get the blood off of our hands, and Lord willing, we can make it. But we're also out here to give you the information to spark the thought in your mind that, damn, maybe I should get on the same shit because I need to make it.
Stirring up your pure minds. No way remembers. That's why the Most High put us on. Going back into Jeremiah 16, verse 8, it says, Thou shalt not also go into the house of feasting to sit with them to eat and to drink. But thus saith the Lord of hosts, the power of Israel, Behold, I will cause to cease out of this place in your eyes and in your days the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride.
That's right, man. You're not going to be happiness in this place. You're not going to see, you know what I'm saying, people walking around smiling or carnivals or, you know what I'm saying, niggas going to worlds of fun. It's going to be gloomy days. Evil, bad times. This is like the brother always say, it's a time that never was before, a situation you ain't never been through. A situation that's never gonna have to happen again. You get one chance at this, and this is the only time it's gonna happen. So leading up to this, you need to be on your shit.
Matthew 24 and 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time.
Yeah, it's not since the beginning of the world until this time. So Noah and the flood, in theory, is the worst situation that happened. All right, because the whole world was destroyed by water. All right, then you got Egypt, you got Sodom and Gomorrah. You got all kind of wars, World War I, World War II. You got all these situations that happen, all right? And the Bible is saying that there's going to be worse things that happened in the history since the beginning of time all the way up to this time. Go ahead.
It says, since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be.
Nor ever shall be. So not only is it going to be the worst thing that ever happened, it's going to be the worst thing that's going to happen. Now, you know, I was meditating on that heavy, you know, and at the end of the day, if you're reading that, you know, like the apostles say, you got to extrapolate. Like you're reading that, this is something that nobody has ever seen. You know what I'm saying? How can you prepare for something that nobody has ever seen. You know, all you can really do is go off the scriptures. And this is what Jake does. They basically say, well, when that day comes, I'm gonna, you know, we all say that when that day comes, I'm gonna have my spiritual power, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, blah, 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 Lord will, you know what I'm saying? But how do you prepare? There's no way that you can sit here and just, bam, you got it. The Most High can do it, but it's the time is not set up like that. So what's that in Romans chapter 5? Or 5:1 or 6:1? You know? The point I'm getting to is that you gotta exercise your righteousness, man. You gotta rehearse your righteous acts.
Romans 5:1. Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with the Most High through our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
Being justified by faith, we have peace with the Most High. Because the first element of spiritual power comes through faith. Alright? Unlike what Nate and other people out here, you know, the churches, the generic Methodists and Baptists, them churches, they're faith-based. But they don't have works. You know, we're going to get that in second Ezra. Get that in second Ezra, that it shall be escaped by his faith and by his works. Alright? Go ahead.
By whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand and rejoice in hope of the glory of the Most High. And not only so, but we glory in tribulation also.
Yeah, we glory in tribulation. Why is that? The old school saying, no pain, no gain. You know, how you gonna prepare for the time of Jacob's trouble for something that you never seen? It's like a fight that don't have no film, and this dude is, you know, 89-0 and knocking everybody out in under 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never heard that, you never seen that. You know what I'm saying? How can you prepare for it? All you can do, you don't sit there and say, man, I'm gonna train tomorrow. You gotta train extra hard, man. You gotta overtrain. You don't know the trials and tribulations that's gonna come about against us, man. You know? So you're supposed to be prepared for something like you're gonna lose, man. Like I gotta tighten up. Everything is opportunity to train, because you don't know how much you need. Just like it says with the virgins gathering their oil. You don't know how much you need, man. You know, so you gather as much as you can, all the way up until it's time to leave. You know? That's why the scripture says, Sirach says, say, don't look on your goods and say, I have enough. You know? You're supposed to always constantly be working on, you know, becoming a perfect, strive for perfection.
And rejoice knowing that tribulation worketh patience.
Yep, so going through that hardship, it creates an element of being able to suffer, because the patience derives from the word suffer. Tribulation is basically hardship. You know, from a short example, what we're doing right here, every elect, especially 144,000 getting ridiculed, you know, getting your jobs called, they're playing with your information and your livelihood, that's tribulation. You know what I'm saying? Getting sick. But mainly what we're going through, or what the certain brothers are going through, that's tribulation. When they take it, they gain patience. So when the time of Jacob's trouble and Esau get on CNN and do that, then brothers already, they already went through that, so they're going to have way more patience than the average bear, so to speak, man. For lack of a better word. So tribulation is worth of patience. Go ahead.
And patience, experience.
Patience, experience. You've been through that. You know what to do. So the time of Jacob's trouble, or the time that nobody's seen, we're going to have experience through exercising every little opportunity, man. Nobody has seen it. But when we go through, we're going to be like, you know, man, hey, I got to been through this, I done been through that. I got to go through it, man. You know? Go ahead.
And experience hope.
Experience hope. So that experience to get the faith. Because if you sit there and wait on the Most High answer your prayers, that definitely will give you hope, man. Okay? A lot of these other camps out here don't have hope, man. They don't like to rely on hope. They like to rely on that good old American muscle. You know, things what they can physically do. That's why these scoffers are using personal information, calling jobs, and doing what they do, because they know that the Most High, they ain't got no hope that the Most High is going to deal or rebuke us. Why? Because these scoffers are being wicked, man. They know that the Most High ain't with them, so they got to take it into their own hands on affecting the production of the truth, which is not going to work in itself, man. But the brothers that are patient, in the truth, you know, the Most High is going to start dealing with us and showing us, exposing. It's like all that shit that Navy was doing, and then something will pop up on them, man. That gives us hope. You know, when we're sitting out here doing the work, and then we hear such and such died, you know, that gives us hope, man. Or this prophecy come to pass, give us hope, because we're going through affliction and tribulation, and we taking it like, man, you know, how long Yahweh Shema shot? You know what I'm saying? Then something happened, like, oh shit, it's about to start cracking, man. You know?
That was the opposite way the niggas coming out of the wilderness was, man. We are the ones that were coming out of the wilderness that were taking heed. You know? You had a bunch of Israelites that were taking heed to the miracle that was out. And what happened to them? Most High took their hands off.
It's in between, because they took heed. Because the reason why I say that is because when they was out there in the wilderness, they say, man, you know, you gave us that manna, you know, why don't you give us some meat? So they knew the Most High had the power. They were just inconsiderate, man. You know, they just, yo, I want this, I want that. That's how they are. They know, 90% of Jake knows that there's a Most High. You know, but they want God to be how they want him to be. They want the Most High Yahweh Shema Shai to be how they want him to be. No, not my God. You know, a God that accepts gays, or the God that lets you smoke. You know what I'm saying? But not the Most High Israel. They don't want the Most High Israel. Only the elect wants the Most High Israel, unfiltered, undoctrinated. You know, not gross, pure. You know? Only the elect. That's why we don't have to sauce up the truth. We don't have to make it sound good. All we got to do is read it, break it down, because the truth is above all, man. We ain't got to do the Yohanas. You know, when I used to listen, when I used to listen coming up, I used to listen to Yohana. I used to listen to Nate Yohana. You know, you listen to a bunch of camps. I used to listen to Yohana. I'd be like, man, you know, it sound good, but you never bring no scriptures, man. Like, you know, I'm trying to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, stop bringing these fucking finger food, man. Where the main dish at, man? You know? Yeah, and basically he's good at speaking, man. But the truth, you know, the apostles, when you listen to the apostles, you get smarter, you get wiser, you get more hunkered down. You know? You produce. You know, like the scriptures say, if you know, if that tree, you gotta purge the tree basically for it to grow. You know? And good fruit, you know, a man by his fruit. And GMS produces good fruit, man. You know? Not all that yelling and rah, rah, rah type of spirit, man. You know? Nosy, that's what it is.
Yeah, God. And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of the Most High is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, which is given unto us.
Yeah.
Well, 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 7, it says, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils.
Yeah, shall be able to escape by his faith and by his works. Okay? Shall be preserved from the said perils. So, the time that you never seen, basically, you're not going to know how to maneuver through this. You're not going to say, you see martial law coming from this way, you see a race war that way, you see famine that way, this, you know what I'm saying? And you're gonna say, oh, I got the game plan, I got a blueprint. You really gonna have to have a major amount of faith. Walking around with fringes ain't gonna cut the mustard, man. You know? I'm pretty sure Peter had on fringes when Yahushua actually walked on the water. You know? But what gave him the ability to walk on that water? It was the faith, man. You know? You gotta have works. Because the Most High Yahushua won't be dealing with you. But you gotta have faith too, man.
Say something. Pretty sure he had the fringes. He denied the Lord as well.
Says, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation.
And shall see salvation. So, in order to be preserved, you gotta have faith and you gotta have works. Faith is believing that Yahushua is coming to destroy this place, hastening in the day. Because the Lord say, hasten in the day, you do that, man. You know? Like, another thing that Brother Thomas, man, faith is believing that we'll scatter across the four corners of the earth, that we'll have confusion of faces. You know? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You know? At this point, to say we're Israelites, it's only evidence we got. We got a couple archaeological findings and digs and like that. But on the average note, that's something that you gotta have faith to realize, man. You gotta have faith to realize that the Lord's gonna come back in chariots. That's why the Lord told Thomas, blessed are they that have not seen and yet believe. You know? Because it requires a large amount of faith. Thomas poked his finger in Yahushua's grill. He didn't have that opportunity. But in these times, we gotta have a lot of faith. Not only because we haven't seen the work, but because it's gonna be the worst time ever. You know? It's gonna require a lot of faith, man. It's like when you eat that first of the month, and you're like, damn, man, I don't got enough money to pay my bills, man. And you gotta pray to the Lord. It's like, Lord, you say you'll clothe me. You know what I'm saying? You say you'll feed me. You say you'll take care of me. And you get up and walk off, man. You know? That's called faith. Then that money, as long as you're in good standing with the Most High, He's gonna answer those prayers, man. You know? You out here wilding. That's why niggas don't they have a structural way that they believe in the Most High. Is they don't believe that the Most High kill everybody, because if they do believe that, then they're going to be one of the ones that's going to be killed. You know you out here eating pork. You know you out here committing adultery. You know you out here stealing and doing all kind of wickedness. You know what I'm saying? So when somebody say, if you don't keep the commandments and have faith, then the Lord will destroy your ass. Oh no, the Lord won't do nothing like that. Because really you just don't want to believe that the Lord will fuck you up, man. You know?
Says, and everyone that should be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby you have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation, and in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning.
Yep, the Most High sanctified the elect from the beginning, and you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith that you're the elect, man. Because, like Paul said, I know how to abase and I know how to abound. How can you abound in something? Abound means to overextend. You know? It means to, we gotta have faith that we're from certain tribes. There's no evidence. You know? And the evidence that come in, the contrary evidence, look just as convincing as the truth, man. In these times, you know? To say, on a minute level, to say that the niggas in our land are Israelites. On a basic level, you'll be like, damn, they might be the Israelites. They're in the land, the whole world, on the mainstream world say that they're Israelites. But shit, they must be. The Lord looked like them. Which is what I mean is the Caesar Borgia pain. looks like him. Well, damn, that gotta be, you know. So it took faith for us to be like, yo, to even walk up to the evidence, man. You know, it takes a lot of faith. The whole Hebrews chapter 11 tells you about that. And it takes, once you have faith, then you automatically gain work. If somebody walk up to you and say, you know, come by 16 and such tomorrow, I'll make you $1 million. And when you show up, that's a sign of faith. Now when they take you and say, this is what I need you to do, you know what I'm saying? That's the works. Even showing up is the works. You believe them, so you showed up. You know, we believe that the Most High said, if we have faith and works, we shall be preserved from the said perils. We out here on the highways and byways, knowing the terror of the Lord, we couldn't persuade men. If we thought this was a fairy tale book, we wouldn't be so adamant to persuade nobody, man. You know, this is a life and death situation, whether people see it or not, man. You know, shit's about to get real. We're telling the whole world about something that the world has never seen. Just like Noah and the ark. Nobody ain't never seen it rain. They thought Noah was tripping, man. But guess what? Noah was out there for hundreds of years, prophesying the same message is going to flood. He ain't had no new breakdown of the earth is flat and all that dumb shit. He came out there prophesying the same thing, man. Hammering it down in the way until it actually came to pass. What you think the people was doing while he was doing it? Oh, he bugging out, man. This guy tripping, man. Like that, what's that movie? I forgot the dude's name, but he played Noah. Basically, it's a comedy movie where he basically built the ark in his front lawn, on his front lawn. It was some more dumb shit, some mockery, but another point in there was Evan Almighty. I think it's Evan Almighty, and basically everybody thought he was crazy, man. You know, like we in a time just like that. When you say, well, who gonna get Israel out this? Or you believe in a book that the white man gave you to enslave you, type of shit. Like we can't even come at Jake at this point if they don't have faith, man. It's like, god damn, you know. If you say, man, you know, we need to get out this place, and Jake asks us how, we're gonna say through the Most High. Put modern day Jake, man, you believe in the white man's book? You know? It's a total lack of faith and a total lack of works. You know? And the niggas that's in the know, like Nate, other niggas, they swear they had works, but they ain't got no faith, man. They don't respect Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is his last coming that just happened was to build up our faith, man. Him dying, rising after 3 days, you know, his body being there. They're still trying to figure this out, man. They're still trying to figure out if the Lord was crucified or not, doing the veil of so-called Jesus, which is the veil of Yahweh Shai, seeing if it matches his face and doing archaeological digs. Hell, niggas don't even know, in the black conscience, they don't think Yahweh Shai existed, man. You know? That's it.
Now this is verse 9. It says, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments.
Yep, so that cast us away despitefully, that's not only the scoffers, but the other scoffers. You got the in the nose scoffers, and you got the out of the nose. You got like Yakanan, you know, you got them niggas, but then you got just generic niggas that drive by screaming and yelling or laughing and shit. You know? Yeah, there's niggas be driving by laughing, smoking a damn cigarette, man. Like you on some shit. You laughing like we tripping, but you got a cigarette in your hand. You clearly a trip. On the box it says it's cancerous. But you laughing at us like we're tripping. You know? Because they don't have faith, they have no vision, they have no sight, man. Most High blinded them, man. That's all that means. When somebody could be out here with books, yelling at the top of their lungs, not asking for money, week in, week out, all year round, and you gonna say, man, there's something about these guys, man. That don't register in your mind. You know?
Different kind of weather. You look even crazier than out here in the snow.
Yeah, or in the rain, man.
Yeah, kind of.
You know?
Hey.
Umbrellas and shit, and, you know? It's like, they just like the Edomites in Wisdom of Solomon. They see our end to be nothing, man. You know? They think it's vain. You out here get money from these bitches. You know, it's like we far past that. That's fiat things. You know? That's Jake, man. They low level, calcified pineal gland having ass niggas, man. All they know is what a famous nigga that's conscious say. You know what Kaepernick say. What's that nigga the nigga that he a comedian? He always talking about black bitches. No, he always talking about black bitches and shit. You know, Paul Mooney. Niggas can come out and say, a free nigga come out and say some shit, and they act like that's deep. What the fuck you talking about, man? We've been bringing out a phenomenal amount of revelations, man, and prophecies. Yeah, Corey Holcomb. You know, you more interested in what these niggas gotta say than what we gotta say, because Jake like to be entertained, and they only respect power, man. They're low-level niggas, man. And they ain't gonna help you prepare the time. You waiting on a nigga that's riding on a shining horse. Yahweh Shai came on the ass. The fuck the 2/3 up, man. He spoke in parables, so fuck the 2/3 up, man. You know? So this time right here that we in is really the fuck the 2/3 up, man. That's spiritual destruction. Like, you got women, you can get any kind of pussy you want, you can have sex with a woman and leave her, or a woman got sex with a man and leave him, you can commit adultery, and nobody really say nothing. You can eat pork, nobody really say anything, man. Like, this society is made for Jake to fuck up, man. You know, and that's what they do. And then on top of that, while they fucking up, they see somebody doing right, and then make fun of them. Like that old, that's how Jake is, man. You be in elementary school going to fucking study hall or doing your homework and shit, nigga make fun of you and shit. Oh, look at this nigga, you wanna go to college and shit. You know? Like, that's the same spirit that these niggas be on, man. So good, is it green?
No,
Up top right corner?
yeah, yep, kinda good.
That's how Jake is, man. So when they see us out here doing the work, all these niggas think they get verified to somebody. You know, like, don't just stop and fucking listen. Everybody's starting from something. Now, we ain't trying to build up because the Lord, let's get that Corinthians. The Lord chose the base things to confound the wise, man. It's set up for only the person that knows how to listen to truth. It's like using profane language, man. Like, you're supposed to be able to get through that. Oh, how you expect somebody to wake up and using all this curse words? What that got to do with me telling you that somebody's about to bust your head? You know? If I tell you, look, man, you need to get away from this motherfucking corner because that dude said he gonna fuck you up in 15 minutes. How you expect me to listen to you cursing? I'm trying to. You didn't hear what I just said? You know? Me using obscene language really messed that message up, man. You niggas can somehow get the so-called white man's message, even though you put all that faggot shit in it. Watching movies and you can get all, oh, that's love and this and that, or that's funny. And it's on some fucking gay ass shit, man. You can see past that and find something hilarious or romantic or something, even though it has some demonic vaginal shit up in there, man. You always see all these movies, they have them women, you know, hitting the dude with a fucking hip toss and shit, putting a fucking, you know, kimura on the nigga or some fucking knife hand to his neck or make him be submissive. action movie, you're like, oh man, oh that was cool. Wow, she's badass. Like, you don't sit there and say, yo, how you expect me to think this movie's real when you got a bitch doing that to a man? No, niggas see that and say, oh, that's action. So when we tell you that your life's at stake and we're using obscene language and we're telling you straightforward that you ain't right and rebuking you or we're talking about something that you never heard before and you can't hear the message. You know why? Because your spirit can't receive it, man. The Bible says, my sheep hear my voice. That don't mean because we're reading and you walking by and you hear the Bible, that don't mean you're a sheep. When it means to hear, it means to understand. You know? The elect understand the Bible. The elect don't walk by, you can hear it saying, motherfucker, this, blah, blah, blah. But when you hear it saying, so-called white man, motherfucking devil, that bitch the devil, you're going to hear that message, no matter how vulgar it is. You see us dressed like this, and we're preaching the doctrine, the holy doctrine. You going to walk by and like, look at the dudes, they all funny. You know? You got that?
1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 27. But the Most High hath chosen the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. And the Most High hath chosen the weak things of this world to confound the things which are mighty. And the base things of this world and things which are despised have the Most High chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are.
Yeah, that's what the Most High does, man. He's basically, he's economic in his actions, man. When he make a chess move, they fuck your whole day up, man. You know, like there's no way around the first move. Like, god damn. You know, like checkmate off the first move, like take you 20 years, and then as soon as you make your move, you slide right into a position and take you about 40 more years to figure that move out. You know, the Most High is very economic, so he chose the base things because he know he created the 2/3. You know what I'm saying? So he know the niggas is like hard-headed to specific shit. They need to see somebody riding on them and shining on them, man. So he said, nah, man, the real worshipers gonna take it how it come, man. You know? You know, it's breakfast is served. You got your protein, you got your vitamin D, you got your omega-3s, you got all that on the plate. But that shit don't look like the best. At 2:30, I don't want that shit. You're not trying to kill me or something. The elect gonna be like, man, hey, give me that. You know, I'm trying to get nutrients. You know, they want shit to taste sweet. Any nigga that drink Kool-Aid at night. in 2017, you know what I'm saying? Basically, if your ass can't drink lemon water to save your life, or cucumber water, you say it's nasty, it's too bitter. But this shit is reinvigorating your body, waking you up. We shouldn't have to doctor the truth up to make it taste good for you, man. You know? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue on. We're gonna get back to you gotta have faith and you gotta have works. Can we get that away in the Hebrews? Faith is no more faith. What is that? 7, something like that. He said Elijah found they have 75,000, something like that, and not by pizza.
Romans 11:4. But what said the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal.
Yeah, because basically when Elisha was questioning, he felt like he was the only person out there, man. He felt like he was the only person that really was striving for the Lord. And the Most High, like, you know, he had 7,000 men. You know, just like right now, we don't feel like it's 144,000 Israelites out there that's prophesying, signing, and crying, but it is, because the Lord said it is. It requires faith. We're not going to see 144,000 men, man. That'll be too easy. You go outside one day and you see a chariot over your head, and yeah, you're going to go and study, man. Why not? You know, like, you see a chariot over your head, he come down, and he be like, you know, yeah, I'm black, you know, look at my skin color, you know, sit on the porch with you and tell you everything and confirm it, like, yeah, you ain't tripping, and go on the chariot. Yeah, you're going to go and study. Yeah, you're going to keep the commandments. You know? That's why this time is set up. Nobody has ever seen a legitimate chariot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if somebody's seen it, it's hard to believe it. You know, we see them, but I have never seen one.
You know, like right there.
Like right there, I know it's burl and the lights is glistening off in it. And I've never seen that. You know? So for me to have faith in this time is a very special thing. You know? It's almost really a spiritual power, man. Yeah. You know? And
Faith?
Faith.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't say that because not only is it spiritual power, it's a gift that we really have coming out the gate. Because like Esau said, don't destroy a child's imagination. From birth, they destroy our faith. You know what I'm saying? From being small to coming up through education. Or they're telling the Big Bang Theory. Or you're born that way, or this, and if it's not this, then it's not true. And then the Bible says something totally different. You know?
He said Esau has destroyed the way to have ideas, to be creative. You know what I'm saying? To inform of thinking how he wants you to think. You know what I'm saying? Which is, none of that is real. You know, I shouldn't have to talk to a kid and I tell them about chariots and they think about aliens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just like one thing the Lord said, he gave the herbs of the earth, you're the seed for food. Give me that real quick in Sirach. He said the sinner in a position. You know? Because this requires faith. You know, I had this little side thing. She out here complaining, I got a headache, got a migraine. I'm like, yo, eat some garlic. Do this, do that. She keep going to a fucking neurologist and shit. You still got a headache though. But you don't want to listen to me because what I'm telling you sound like some ancient mama tincture. But at the same time, you claim yourself to be a Christian. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's in, was it 11 or?
It's Sirach 38. I ain't got but I think
Let the sinner fall into the hands of the physician. It's a whole nice little lick of it. You want me to from it's in the beginning.
Okay, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. Ecclesiasticus 38:1. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him.
And guess what? We're the physician. You know, in this time, because the actual physicians are fucking warlocks and witch doctors, man. You know?
For the uses which you may have of him, for the Most High hath created him. But the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king.
Which one of the disciples was Luke? Luke was a physician. You know? So we wouldn't always bogus, man. You know?
The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration. The Most High hath created medicines out of the earth.
He have created medicines out of the earth. So the point I'm bringing this out is that the medicine, what plants come out the earth, man. You know? A Xanax don't grow on a tree. You know what I'm saying? know, that what's that shit that they call mixing metals and shit?
Alchemy.
Yeah, alchemy, man. You know? Go ahead.
It says, the Most High hath created medicine out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them.
Yeah. You know, he teach money. He teach them the things that's natural. They got something called a caveman diet. Well, ain't nothing wrong with eating meat. But the whole point is I brought this out is because this scripture's here. When niggas running to neurologists and you know, if I get a checkup, only thing that motherfucker could do is tell me what's wrong with my body. Because in these times, he's gonna tell me to inject myself with this drug or that drug to solve it. You know, you got like catching fucking heart attacks and shit. And they putting you on blood things. You know, you fucking bump your knee and pass out on that shit, man. They got you taking rocket fuel, man. The people with their fucking heart problem gotta put their shit in a titanium container or something like that, man. You know, because they're taking rocket fuel. You know, but we tell you to take garlic. We tell you to take this herb and that herb and take this food and do this. We tripping. Oh, that nigga don't know what he's talking about. But you'll take rocket fuel. You know why? Because of lack of faith, man. You know? That's all I wanted with that. Just to prove that point.
Hey, and even when you read down,
You go ahead if you got a point.
I was about to say, you see,
Yeah, they have no faith, but we're like low-level people, man. You know, we're Galileans, man. We're not seen as high-ranking, intelligent people, so they're like, man, niggas. The Most High set it up. The base thing of the world shall have to find the wise, man. You know, telling you that there's no cure for cancer. You know, there is a cure. There is a cure, man. You come out of the earth, man.
hey, I wanted to get verse 9. It says, my son, in thy sickness be not negligent, but pray unto the Most High, and he will make thee whole.
Oh, that's the main one right there. That is the main. That is the main thing. Because you can eat all that food, and if the Most High don't want you to get right, then it, you know, because like Paul's like, you know, get this affliction away from me, man. And the Most High didn't answer that prayer, man. You know, so you gotta pray to the Most High, man. You know, and just like in Paul's case, if the Most High don't answer, did Paul get mad, buck up, or maybe you don't exist? You know, why would you do such a thing to me? You know, he just kept on doing the fucking work, man. A lot of you generic Christians don't want to be so Israelites, quote unquote, because the Lord ain't. You have to come to understand that the Lord ain't gonna have you rich and shit, man. Like, fuck that, I want to be rich, so I'm gonna just keep praying how I'm praying, man. You know, like the Lord ain't gonna answer that goddamn prayer, man. You know. But you want salvation too. You know, like a chick told me that she'll do the multiple man thing on the other side. Like, bitch, what? Like, you got options or something. If you don't believe one, then you're guilty of all. You basically an atheist. Talking about you'll wait later till that happens. That's like I do the work. I do the work later, man.
Multiple woman thing.
Yeah. A man can have multiple wives. You know what I'm saying? She said, basically, I ain't down with that. I just wait till the Most High make me whole to do some shit like that. You know? Like, who is you? Who is you? They worship the creature more than the creator. They worship themselves. Everybody got their head stuck up their ass. They, you know? Like, arrogance is different from being abound, man. Arrogance is having a false sense of confidence, man. You know, if I, like I always say, if I know Muay Thai, boxing, all that, and if somebody come up to me, a big ass thing, I say, I'm not the fuck out. I can say some shit like that. I don't know nothing. I'm 100 pounds soaking wet. You know, Mix Show, man. You know? You have no clue how to take these dudes down, but you don't see me in these streets. You know? You ain't Scrappy Doo, man. Scrappy Doo he has some balls in there. You know? Works behind it. He ran those things. Yeah, like that little Arab nigga. And that little Arab midget that be having fucking with people swinging on you, you know? But that's just a little side note. Go ahead and get back to the scripture.
Yeah, that was good. Romans, right?
Yeah.
All right. Romans 11:4. But what said? But what said the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Even so then, at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
There's a remnant in this time. That time talking about the Roman period, but that same remnant is in this time, that same generation. So the Lord has a remnant, not everybody, not the whole world. How is the question why would the Lord destroy everybody when there's a Noah and the ark? And then he says in Romans that it's a remnant. Okay? Go ahead.
And if by grace, then it is no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work.
So it's not about one. It's not about reading. Because if it's all about reading and keeping your fringes, then it's no more grace. But you can't say all I gotta do is call upon the name of the Lord, because then there's no more works. What is it basically alluded to? You gotta have both. That's y'all said you want to say it parable. You can't sit here and say where your fringes at. Oh, you ain't got your fringes. You know you ain't a man of the Lord. The Lord gonna kill you. What's up with grace, man? Because guess what? There's no way. Niggas is dead. Every man that claims himself, unless you came into this truth, born into it, you're dead. You did something that was worthy of death. You know? You ain't sacrificing those lambs. You ain't doing peace offerings and all that. You just did your earthly thing. I'm glad you feel like that. You basically willy-nilly all bloodied up in the spirit. Your spirit is bloody as hell, man. Talking about where your fringes at. Then you got porked and went through your whole system at a point in time, man. You know? You done committed adultery or believed in a false deity, man. You know? At a point in time. So grace had to get you into good graces. Yahushua, through Yahushua is really the door to grace. He's really the door to everything, but in this transition to come back to the Most High, he's that window of grace, man. You know? Without Yahushua, we have to be burning lambs. He's the sacrificial lamb. So he's that person that says, yeah, I should kill your ass, but you know, this one time I'll let you give you a second chance. That's what Yahushua is. So for Nathan to say, to preach a doctrine that's all about the Most High and the laws and not giving praise to Yahushua, it's not allowing the Israelites to get grafted back in, man. You know? Y'all got something?
This is James chapter 2, verse 17. Even so, faith, if it have not works, is dead being alone.
Yeah, faith without works is dead being alone. You know, like if you don't have a negative side to a battery, the battery don't work, man. You know? You gotta have both. And when you have both, then you gotta have balance. You know, some people got more works than faith. Some people got more faith than works. But you gotta know you gotta have both, man. You know? Just like with a diet, you got something called a pH balance. But does that mean that you have it at a solid 7? No, you'll want your shit at like an 8 or a 9. You know, high alkaline, low acidic. You know, like that's a good pH balance. That don't mean, like I said, a false balance is abomination to the Lord. That don't mean you put a quarter pound of steak, and then you put a quarter pound of veggies. No, you're supposed to have more veggies than you have meat, because that's good balance. You know, like balance ain't always 50-50, man. Just like to balance your house, the man has to be the head. It ain't 50-50. You know? You motherfuckers, 50-50. The good balance to run the world ain't about I get to do what I want, that's my path to God. I believe in God, but I believe what I do is my path to Him. No. Good balance is knowing that the Most High have established this book and you're supposed to do what the hell He says in order to obtain salvation. That's good balance. You know? Go ahead.
Yea, a man may say, Thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works.
Yeah, you show people your faith by your works, man. You know, if you could believe, right? You see a big tenderoni, you see her and say, I'm about to get that, like on the wood. Damn, was that the wood? And he was like, it's like something like he had to go holler at a shorty, man. By his faith, he had works. Came up there gyrating and shit. You know, like, what's up? You know, you don't do what it takes. You know, if you got faith. You know? Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, I bet you won't grab that ass. Like, you know, like, yeah, well, you know, like, because you have faith that he'll do it.
So, hold this. Yeah. Hey, hold this. He was like this too.
He
was getting ready, you know.
He was ready, man.
Get that running start on it. Oh, man. That's $1 too. You know?
Ephesians 2:8.
That's a different level. He had faith that old boy would give him that dollar.
Yeah, kind of.
So he went and performed the works. We got faith that our God's gonna bring us salvation. So through terror we persuade men. We believe that the Most High gonna fuck everybody up, and he gonna do his victory dance on the whole earth, man. You know, everybody's gonna know that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is the shit that Israelites and Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and he's gonna throw it in everybody's faces, man. You know, and he's saying, hey, yo Israel, y'all welcome too. Y'all bid to the marriage too. All you gotta do is this and that. Hey, shit, I'm rolling, man. I'm down. It's whatever. Sign me up. A lot of niggas get signed up. Oh, I gotta do that. Nah, I don't know about that. I don't think the Lord made me do that. You know? That's crazy, man.
Ephesians 2:8 was like, grace are ye saved through faith.
By grace are you saved through faith. You know, like, by grace, get grafted back in, you're saved through faith. You know, just being to be back in and then having to say that I'm going to be saved, to have that confidence, that's a large amount of faith, man. That's no fact. Here it is, we're dwelling in limbo of not knowing if we're the elect or not. That's faith, man. We can't sit here, we're in a situation, we can't sit here and say, yo, we're going to be saved. That's facts. We can't say that because nobody knows who's the elect. You know? So by faith, we're doing what we're working, man. And we're striving to be perfect. We're not going to make an excuse for shortcomings or anything. But we do understand shortcomings. You know? We do understand that you're not going to be perfect. But we strive for perfection. That's an exciting adventure. To work at something that you can never achieve, but you can always keep getting better. You know? That's like when the motherfucker in that little tube and they turned on you're not gonna get all the money in that motherfucker. But it's the thrill of you trying to get all of it, man. That's how it is when you you're striving for salvation. You're not going to be able to attain and become whole, but at the same time, you're reaching and you're grabbing for every opportunity to become a more solid man of the Lord, man. You know? Yahushua left us an example. Because Yahushua was a bad dude, man. Read them stories and how his rebuttals was, and walking on water, how he just talk to everything, man. Walked to a tree, got mad at a tree, man, like, man, hit him with that, came back, tree was dead, man. You know, the storm was hitting him, he woke up like, man, please be still. Like, that's how he walked around, like, yo, you know what I'm saying, cast out demons and curse, you know, curse them out, you know, like, and like, man, I don't know how long I gotta be with y'all, man. Get out of there, go, shoot, yeah. Everybody like, it's a bad dude, man. You get in a fight with somebody, you know, dude smaller than you and everything, you get your ass beat. It's not even like you get your ass beat, you going at it with somebody you ain't supposed to be going at it. then your sensei walk up like, get out of the way, move, let me handle it. And he just hit him with something, little fucking, throw his ass, break his arm and shit. You know? Like, goddamn, didn't I show you this move? You know? Like, but we have to strive. That takes a lot of training to get to that level, to be in that sensei level. But you'll never reach that sensei level, but it's worth trying to. You know? Striving for perfection, man. Strive for the masteries. Strive for the masteries, but you have to strive lawfully. You know? Don't be striving to show everybody that they're picking fights and shit. You don't dig for this truth to be like Alizé, just to be on the podium and get your own soapbox. And act like nobody taught you. Like the Israelites trying to find in Chicago don't want to admit that the apostles taught them. You know? You don't get like that. That's another aspect. You gotta have some character to get up there. You gotta have character, man. Because how can you retain anything if you got no character? How can you maintain anything if you got no character? They're like you said, the Israelites in Egypt, it was inconsiderate. You know, lacking character, man. Boy, did all that to my man. Well, that's how niggas is in the truth, man. Inconsiderate, man. They have a lack of character. The Lord wake your ass up, and then now all of a sudden it's all about you. You did it. The Lord Yahushua was just a man all of a sudden now. The apostles that he sent to you, you know damn well when they was bringing out the videos, like, these men are the Lord. This shit's amazing. You know? Then all of a sudden, man, they ain't teach you. You know? Only they come from the Lord himself. He kicked you off the horse last week and shit. You know?
I was saying I get a lesson in a while back, you know, character versus charisma. You know, that charisma is that thing that's appealing, it looks good, you know what I'm saying? But that character is what's within you, you know what I'm saying? How you know, carrying yourself, like it says, the holy conversation. You know what I'm saying? That's what that character is, what you've been brought up and what you learn just to be a good person, not look like you're a good person. You know what I'm saying?
Charisma is just flashy. It's when them niggas be wearing the Louis J's, got a designer belt on, but he's like, damn, that nigga bald. You know what I'm saying? Compared to a dude that got money, you know? Like all us that got cars and families, like we don't really, you know, like you see a nigga that's dressed down to the T, like where that nigga put his money at? God damn, bro, like, you know, how the fuck is you walking with J's on? You know? Like, men of the Lord just like, you know a man by his gait, man. You know? By the way he carry himself. You know? That's why women, even though y'all say we rape women, no, man. Women like our character. Because guess what? Women were built to respect our character. And most times program women to respect our character. You know? Now women are polluted to the point when something don't rub them the right way, then they're put adultery. You know what they want you to do. end of the day, they like men to take control, man. You know? They like cooking for me. They like doing that thing. They just got the option of clothes. And judgment. You know?
Ephesians 2:8, it says, for by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves.
It's not about what you do. So this is taking the whole aspect of work away from it. But at the same time, you gotta have work because to love the Most High is to keep the commandments. You know what I'm saying? So it's both, but it's telling you that like faith in itself ain't about what you do. It's about how much you believe. You know, so like
And then after that it says, it is the gift of the Most High. It says, not of works, lest any man should boast.
yeah, you can't study your way into building your faith up, man. You gotta have it. Like, you gotta have that. I don't know how to explain it. You gotta jump in that pool. You know? Like Peter was an example, a great example of faith, man. You know? Peter was all he was like, man, who do y'all think I am? Peter, like the son of the living God, man. It's like, blessed are you, because heaven and earth have not revealed. He said earth, basically,
My father have revealed it to you.
yeah, my father revealed it to you. This is something that you can't go to the store. There's no breakdown for this. You know, like you believe this. Somebody else showed you this, man. It was gifted unto you. You know, like that ain't no shit. You know, goddamn. You know.
So like say like James, I believe the dude name was James, or it might have been Simon. But in Acts, you know what I'm saying, when he got converted, he seen the disciples and apostles, you know, using spiritual power to heal people. And he like, man, what's up, man? I got some money. I need that. You know, he tried to buy spiritual power, and he got cussed out. You know what I'm saying? I believe it was Paul that cussed him out like, hey, man, you better hope that the Lord don't bust your head for trying to, you know, basically buy faith. Yeah, you're trying to buy, you know?
Can't buy faith.
That gotta be something within you, man. You know? That's why you have to pray for faith, man. Because it's up to the Lord whether He wants you to have faith. And then on top of that, remember there's levels. And everybody got their own level of faith and their own level of grace as well, man.
It takes faith to pray for faith. Hey,
Kind.
you gotta have the money to get in the club to get in the club. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, to go up to VIP basically. You know, you gotta get in the club first. You know? So you gotta have faith. You gotta say, man, you can't say maybe. That's a great example of what happened when Peter walked on water. When he said, that's thee, let me come to thee, he started walking because he believed. But guess what? When the water started troubling, he began to doubt. Because natural fears came like, oh shit, I'm gonna drown. This shit is dangerous. And then, bam. You know? When we come out here and do the work, it's off of faith. Anything can happen, man. The Most High say don't write no script. You know, he said don't basically have a full list of what you gonna say. You gotta come out here, you gotta prepare yourself. You know, if that is thee, let me come to thee. That's you. You know, type of thing. You gotta prepare yourself and say, okay, that's you. I'm about to come out of it. So that's what we do when we study. We prepare ourselves. It says, hey, I'm ready. I'm about to go out there. I'm about to go out there head first. That was my mentality when I first came to the truth. Hey, what's up? I said, Lord, look, you said in Jeremiah that you put your words in my mouth, so I'm out there head first. You're going to look crazy. You're going to help me out. And the Lord help us out every time, man. Name anybody that trusts in the Lord and goes to the Father. You know?
Yeah, just one more verse. It says, for we are His workmanship, created in Hamashiach Yahushai unto good works, which the Most High hath before ordained that we should walk in them.
Yep. So it's already in our DNA to have faith. That gift was given to us a long time ago. You know, if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. We can't teach you into faith. Faith is what wakes you up, man. That's basically what activates you, man. You know? You gotta be a vampire to come to life from blood and shit. You know?
Second Ezra chapter 1, verse 37.
But basically what I mean, basically you gotta be of that breed, you gotta be chosen just to be automatically be able to be woken up. Or the Lord gotta put the spirit on you to be woken up. But some niggas here wake up and kick right the fuck out, man.
Second Ezra chapter 1, verse 37. I take to witness the grace of the people to come, whose little ones rejoice in gladness, and though they have not seen me with bodily eyes, yet in spirit they believe the thing that I say.
Yep. Take the gladness. You know? People that believe that have not seen with their bodily eyes. We out here, but like we always say, we got signs, you know, we got garments that we stitch. Like we really believe in this, man. You know?
It's killing me too.
We're out here. We're stationed. We set up shop, man.
This is premeditated.
Premeditated, man. We could have spent money on anything. We had like a faith. We'll be like, man, you know, who gonna buy a car that'll break down if they know it's gonna break down on the next week? You gonna spend no $5,000 on that car? You know what I'm saying? Why are we out? Why we did this? Because we got faith that the Lord gonna give us salvation, man. Those are the ones that's gonna get salvation. What if I don't? I ain't like that other bitch that told us. I think was y'all out there at that time? It was on 30th and Ames, and the chick was like, well, what if the Lord don't come? What if the Lord don't come? Because she was like, I believe, and it was 20 years ago. What if the Lord don't come in 5 years or something like that? I said, I ain't even thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? My mind, I ain't even thought that far. You know, like that's some more wicked shit to me. You know, to set my mind that far, saying, what if he don't? That's a demon, man. You know? Go ahead.
I'm gonna say because the scripture told you to hasten the day.
Yeah, hasten the day. Like, you're not, like, why would you think that? Like, that's not an option of thinking for me. You know, I never even thought of thinking that. Like, you know? Like, what about 30 years, man? Like, that's a vexing spirit, man. Like, hell no, man. Every day I'm trying to I'm thinking, Lord, man, Lord, fuck me up, man. I mean, get right. Every day, man. Every day. Ain't no like, yeah, it'll come like 30 years. You know it's gonna come, you know it's gonna start fucking up then, man. You think you got time and shit. You know? That's why you're supposed to hasten the day, because it keep you on your shit. Don't get ready, stay ready. You know? And as my coach like to say, don't get ready, stay ready. Stay in shit. Motherfucker might call you with $1 million deal to fight. Oh man, well, fuck that.
Scripture basically, brother was like, the Lord walked around like, you know, because he was that dude, man. All right, this is Mark 1:22, and they were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one that had authority and not as the scribes, man. And that's the same with us now, you know, because basically the scribes, they was all about the law, People was used to that, hearing them, you know, on that. So when the Lord came on the scene, he came with that new doctrine, basically. You know what I'm saying? And that is our apostles, man, and our elders. They constantly bring out information. Like, there's so much information out there on YouTube that it's hard to keep up with, man. Okay?
And he was spoken with authority.
Yeah.
With those, like, they was really like, who the fuck this nigga think he is?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like they really was like, yo, this dude, he came up with none of our school. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like he was pulling the shit out his ass. It was highly accurate. So it was fucking their head up. When he was, not only was he teaching accurately, but he taught like, you know, this is what it is. You know, somebody telling you how to, cook gumbo, like I think you kind of, then a nigga from Saudi Arabia, look, you take the root, and then you mix it like this, and you be like, who the fuck is this nigga? You know what I'm saying? Telling me how to cook gumbo. But he telling you accurately, that gonna make you even more mad. You from New Orleans, you cooking gumbo and you forgot, and he's showing you how to cook it. Because you didn't fucked up the recipe. You know what I'm saying? That'll make you, it's embarrassing, man. Now you gotta step back and watch him cook it. Everybody, this shit's good as fuck. Yeah. Better than your shit, man. You talk about your shit like this. Yeah. Why your shit don't taste like that, man?
Damn, that hurt a nigga.
You gotta imagine that's what was happening while your house showers around. He giving them breakdowns and revelations and healing it. God damn, that boy a beast. How come y'all do that? I know they was mad, man. I know they was salty, like, man, so who the fuck this nigga is, man? Who think he is? Like, you know what I'm saying? Then he ain't fuck with him because they, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't of his fold, man. They wasn't right. So that made him even more mad. You know? Then he came and cursed him out. Now you gotta fight.
Yeah.
Give me a reason. I need you to say something. Something, so you can extrapolate and see just how it is, man. That jealousy is a rage of a man. They was real jealous of Yahweh Shai to the point they'd rather a murderer out on the streets than Yahweh Shai himself. Yeah. And then I was getting sidetracked in my mind, and it's the same thing is going on with us. They'd rather a faggot or a child molester to represent. For him to be a representative of the Most High, or say he's a holy one, than have somebody tell him the truth and curse their ass out, man. They rather have that, man. They rather have Emotep over them than to have somebody saying that women ain't shit. They rather have Amaral over them than to have somebody say, look, you wicked as hell, man. That's our people, man. They're like, oh, yeah. I bet money and they say, man, y'all, one of these groups is terrorists. It's either Israelite people or these Muslims. Niggas gonna be like, some Israelite niggas. Get rid of them. They rape little girls, all kind of, all that shit. Yakinan, all of them, man. They just throw themselves in jail just to hate up the Shia mess. Like, ain't your part of the Israelite camp? Yeah, I'm helping you out. Damn, man.
You say more than great.
Because they them Israelites that destroy Yahweh Shai and serve Rome, they end up getting fucked over, man. Yeah. With Nero, you know what I'm saying? Saying, yo, man, like, it was the Israelites that was fucking that shit up, man. And they started persecuting Israelites. They really persecuting the ones that believe in Yahweh Shai. But anybody could get it, man. You had to be a full-blown Gentile. You wouldn't know dude that was that's walking around with your fringes and your borders. Nah, man, you was getting fucked up. They can't tell you apart.
Niggas even said, they said we have no king but Caesar.
Yeah, king Caesar. Like, that's deep. Be like, they ain't even hesitate. You can tell, like, when you want to, I thought this was your king. I know king but Caesar. Like, little bitch, bro. Nigga bad, man. We got no that nigga ain't out. That's how it was, man. They won't come back in this time and act like you'll do whatever for your house shine, man. You ain't gonna get your ass can give up bacon. You can't put the work first over your family. If you can't do these things, if you can't give up 10% of your money, if you can't, show brotherly love and kindness, you can't study and come out here during the cold, how the hell you gonna survive the time of Jacob's trouble, that tribulation? How the hell you gonna do that, man? If you can't do it on some regular shit, Lord know I gotta eat. What you gonna do when a nigga it's either you eat somebody or you don't eat nothing. What are you gonna do? Lord know I gotta eat, eating on the nigga leg and shit.
Like, what are you gonna do? That's why we're rehearsing these righteous acts now, because it's gonna prepare us for that time now. You know?
We were talking about earlier being pilgrims upon the earth. You know? This is building us up at this time. So we're gonna,
You gotta be willing to die for the Lord. Once you're willing to die, then ain't nothing can stop you. You know? You ain't got no food to fucking die. I guess I gotta die then. I sure ain't gonna break the neck. You know, I'm sure ain't gonna mock the Most High. You know? You either believe in the Lord or you either denounce the Lord or catch the guillotine. That's how the fucking head off. If you can't give up your life, then you know, like niggas say, like they say in the superhero movies, everybody has a price. You know, basically saying every hero can be bought out. Joker couldn't be bought out. Joker, yeah, he had no faith in the world. You know, like that's how our mindset is to Yahushua and Virgin. We have all faith in Yahushua. So you can't give us money, you can't give us riches, you can't give us, you know, health, none of that, man. Fuck that, man. Just like the sons, the brother, how many sons you have? 7 sons, you know, which is completion. You know, all of them seen death back to back. They knew that. The nigga said that you next. You know? And then he did it to him and told the other nigga he next. You know?
Got down to the last one. And he kept it 100. Like, he like, look, nigga, you done killed my people. I'm going too. Like, you don't think
it would be an honor to fry with no forehead. Like, you know, like.
Hey, that's the thing.
Like, yo, that's what the mindset, that's where you want to be at, man. Willing to die for your Habashim Yahushua. You know? How do you prepare yourself for that? You think that them sons, because it tells you what it tells you in the beginning of the story, that the mother raised them up right. You know what I'm saying? You think these niggas was just clubbing, fucking all kind of bitches, not even worried about the Lord, and just came in that situation like, nope, I'm soldiering up for the Lord. Like you Christians think you're gonna do.
Yeah.
You gonna do nothing that the Lord say do, and think you're just gonna pull that confidence out your ass. You gotta be practicing this every day, man. Rehearsing the right things every day. That's what's gonna, you know, knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of the time, man. You know? No, I was just going to that story. I wasn't gonna read it all. I wanted to get the last little bit of it. Yeah, you can find it. Get the part where it said the mother raised him up. Yeah, there's no way that you just gonna pull that confidence of being the elect out your ass, man. You know, through tribulation and enduring that tribulation and remaining faithful, that's gonna build that confidence up, man. You know, when I fought, when I didn't train to when I trained, my confidence was totally different. I felt like I had to make some shit up when I ain't trained right. You know what I'm saying? Compared to when I trained and did everything I was supposed to do, I was like, shit, all I gotta do is what I was taught. You know? I don't know this nigga, he don't know me. We got no film on each other. But as long as I do what I'm taught, I can beat this guy. You know why? Because I worked hard. I felt that if I felt he didn't work like I worked. But when you half-ass and do what you're supposed to do, then you gonna start making up shit. You know? That nigga cheating, the refs, or this and that. And they got cast for gloves and shit, or cast for hand wraps. You know? You can't find it, you don't just get it rated. With that being said, we give all praise to Yahweh,
Hashem, Yahushua.
honor to the apostles / elders, which are GMS, located in New York, and the blessed society takes you brothers out there teaching and doing work and truth and sincerity. soon as he snatched up the brothers, the first real awkward rip, he's like, hold up. He said, but one of them that spake first said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die, rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. Like,